to Symmes Township December meeting. If you please stand for an invocation and pledge of allegiance. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Dear God, during this special time of year, let there be peace on earth. Amen.
Amen.
Roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Here.
Mr. Beck,
Here.
Mr. Bryant,
Here.
I move approval of the agenda.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Ms. Lees,
Aye. I move approval of minutes, regular meeting minutes from November 1st, 2022.
Second.
Roll call.
Mr. Bryant,
Aye.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
I move fiscal officer's report, November report. Do we need a second for that before we start speaking? Yes.
Second.
Okay, up to you.
our checking account balance is at $7,799,245.15. The HRA checking account balance is $19,857.89. Our meter investment fund is at $8,239,986.60. Revenue to date, which is 98.033%, is $12,184,365.90. Revenue budgeted, $12,428,795. Appropriations for 2022, $13,726,612.40. Expenditures to date, $10,210,967.76. Payments made in October total $1,124,714.44. Some of our major fund balances are general fund, $2,829,357.29. The park levy fund, $571,426.99. The Rossi Park levy, $290,156.60. Police levy, $960,858.32. The fire levy, $697,219.67. The road levy, $310,829.19. Safety services levy, $3,569,325.85. The ARP fund, $1,241,841.36. And the TIF fund, the tax increment financing fund, $2,974,157.76. Total of all funds is $15,629,351.85.
Is that it?
That's it.
Any questions? Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Mr. Bryant.
Aye.
Okay, presentations. Before we get to Dragonfly, I'd like to talk about Operation Santa. We realized this year it was the 20th year for Symmes Township to celebrate Operation Santa. So I just wanted to throw a few comments out there. We've had 60 Spirits of Santa, 20,000 treat bags, what's that? What did I say? 200,000 treat bags filled, 7,000 toys donated, 10,000 in cash donation, and millions of smiles. So I wanted to say thank you to Symmes Township, and we are so proud of you because you've embraced this, and we love you, and we're so proud as a board to be able to bring this to you. So thank you. Another very special presentation I wanted to bring up is Maddie Mertz. And she had a birthday party. Do you want to come up to the podium and talk about it? You should be so proud of yourself.
Oh, you can't reach.
She could stand on the box.
Or you can probably lower that.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So do you want to tell them? Tell the stuff we were at? I'll tell them. So she had a birthday party that we had at the skating rink with like 50 kids, and so instead of birthday gifts, they brought toy donations and cash donations. So we wanted to bring them to add to the pile. So, because her party was after the fire department stuff was happening at the neighborhood, so.
Well, thank you. That was very special of you.
It's very thoughtful.
Very.
Very, very, very nice.
How
We're
old
so
are you?
proud of you.
How old are you now?
7.
7.
7. Wow.
Nice.
Yeah.
But with her ears pierced, she's.
Daddy.
That was her.
Yes.
That was her
Yes.
trade-off, huh?
That was it?
She bypassed the gift, she got to get her ears pierced.
Yeah.
Were you available for Operation Santa?
No, we weren't,
No.
yeah, we weren't home.
Have you
So we
been
didn't
in the
see it.
past?
No, because of COVID, they didn't have it the first year we moved to the neighborhood, so.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so it
Next
was a-
year for
Yeah, we
sure.
got to see them at Halloween when they came to the neighborhood, so we didn't get to see them for Operation Santa.
Okay.
Well, thank you.
Well, that is very thoughtful, yes.
You want to unload those and talk about theirs?
Yeah, and if we do the presentation, we'll want her to take pictures if that's okay. If she wants to, it's up to her. We'd love to have her because they're so special. Okay, so now we have a presentation to Dragonfly. Would we like to call Allie Brokoff up? And
Okay.
we just want to,
Oh, thank you all. So, I mean, I cannot thank you enough. This will double what we have right now on hand. We have helped 7,000 patients and families to date in 13 years, and this time of year especially, to put a smile on their faces and the siblings' faces is just incredible. So we really can't thank you guys enough. So thank you so much.
you're welcome. And we also have $763 to donate.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you guys so much. Oh, yeah.
Oh, that's so
you.
fun.
Yeah,
So we
thank
would
you,
like to
Maddie.
come up and get pictures.
Yeah, that'd be great.
You want to just, do you want to just,
I'll
we'll
do it.
stand on your side. How about
I'll
that?
just stay out of it. Okay.
You want to stand up here?
We'll
That's
just
all
kind
right.
of weasel over. Thank you guys.
I'll get you back.
Hey, is Christine still involved?
She is,
Okay.
I'm going to hand this to you. I'm
Okay.
going to stand right here.
Okay.
Okay.
Would you tell her that I said hello?
I will.
Okay.
Sure you want to stand next to me?
I can stand. I just can't get up and down the step.
Can you get us all here? I can go this way.
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you get right there? There you go. Come on, Joe.
Ready?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. You're welcome so much.
Thank you. Oh my gosh, thank you so much.
So I guess you'll organize with Luann and Bill?
Yes, yep.
All right.
Yeah, these are not fit in my car, so.
Yeah.
Don't quite need the tractor trailer, but getting
Yeah.
there. Can we get pictures of her, Kim?
Yeah, you want to get pictures? That's so cute. That is a cool thing to do. Very cool.
She has more friends than probably. Family.
Do you go to Loveland? Sycamore?
Symmes. Yeah. Symmes Elementary. Sycamore. Yeah. You're right.
Hey, Maddie, do you want to stand up and hold up one of your toys and then I'll take a picture of you?
No, I have a committee member.
Phil, stand next to her. Stand next to her.
Go
So
ahead.
she's got one of us. Yeah, there you go. Since you're down there.
There you go.
It's like, what am I doing about
All right. That is so cute.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're gonna head out. So it's-
Yes, you,
you
yes, I
don't
would
wanna
head out
stay-
too. You
you
don't want to
wanna
be
stay
stuck
for the
here all
fun?
night.
Well, I was on one of these meetings for a zoning thing one time.
Oh,
3 hours.
yeah. It's a long, gets to be long sometimes.
Thank you.
Thank
you for coming.
Okay.
Merry Christmas.
So I took care of all of that, right?
Yeah.
So now I'm moving on. Okay, so now we have some certificates to pass out to our board members. Brian Fowler. Is Brian here? He's unable to come, so let me read the certificate. It's a certificate of recognition from Symmes Township. This is to certify that Brian Fowler has been recognized for his commitment and dedication by serving the Board of Zoning Appeals for 7 years by Symmes Township Board of Trustees on December 6, 2022. So congratulations to Brian. We will miss him because he did a great job for us, so thank you so much. The next one we
We
have,
have George Flynn.
well, I'm going.
Oh, okay.
Board of Zoning Appeals is George Flynn. Is George here? Do I see him? I've got to take off my contacts. I do not see George. So I'm going to read it too. A certificate of recognition from Symmes Township. This is to certify that George Flynn has been recognized for his commitment and dedication by serving the Zoning Commission for 10 years by the Symmes Township Board of Trustees, December 6, 2022. So thank you to George Flynn. We will miss you too because you did a great job. All right, so now we have a proclamation for Ed Dawes. Where's Ed?
Where's Ed?
I don't see him. Do I have my contacts?
No, Ed?
No Ed?
I don't see
no
Ed. Oh, man. Okay, so let me read this to Ed because I love Ed. He's one of my favorites. Okay, proclamation. Recognizing the public work career and contribution of retired service worker Ed Dawes. Whereas Ed Dawes, retiring service worker for Symmes Township, has served the Symmes Township for 21 years and is well respected by fellow township employees, board members, and volunteers. And whereas his career began with Symmes Township in 2004 when he was hired part-time to work in the parks, and then in 2008 was hired full-time to work in the service department, and he continually took new roles and responsibilities. And whereas during his tenure with the township, he has worked in the parks division to clean and maintenance the parks, create gardens, preserve and cultivate calm areas for the residents to enjoy. In the road division, making sure the residents of the township have safe traveled surfaces to get to their everyday destination. Serving the township as a burial grounds custodian so that so many of our residents can come back to visit their loved ones after they have passed on, and cared for the public building so that our employees have cared for facilities to work from. And whereas not only has Ed initiated some initiative-taking measures to address the modern-day challenges of government, he, along with other employees of the township, have mentored and trained other employees of the township, striving to be proactive in all areas of effective administration, maintenance, and lead the way for welcoming anyone new into the township, as well as caring for the well-being. And now, therefore, it being resolved that we, the township trustees, Symmes Township trustees, hereby recognize retiring employed Ed Dawes for his legacy of service to the residents of Symmes Township, expressing their deepest appreciation for his dedication and commitment to the citizens of the township and the board, and extend to Ed Dawes and his family best wishes for many years of happiness in the future. Now, therefore, it being resolved that we, Symmes Township Board of Trustees, do hereby proclaim Saturday, December 31st, 2022, being recognized as Ed Dawes Day throughout Symmes Township and the surrounding community. Duly adopted the 6th day of December 2022 with regular session. It's signed by all three of us. So congratulations to Ed. We love him. He's truly going to be missed, and thank you for your service. Does anybody have a comment? Ken, Bill, you guys want to say anything?
Ken? I mean, you summed it up, but
Okay.
we will definitely miss Ed. He was a huge cornerstone of the township, and who knows, maybe we'll be able to pull him back for some part-time work. We'll see.
Yes.
All right, thank you, Ed. Great
Thank you.
job.
Okay, so now we also have some Symmes Township Employee Awards. The first one is Lou Ann Feltner, 25 years. Let me read this certificate. Come on up, Lou Ann. You gotta come up, else I'm not reading it. Okay. Lou Ann's kind of my partner in crime here. So, Certificate of Recognition, Symmes Township. This is to certify that Lou Ann Feltner has been recognized for her commitment and dedication to Symmes Township for 25 years of service by the Symmes Township Board of Trustees on December 6, 2022, signed by all three of us. Congratulations. I have to say, Lou Ann does an awesome job. You want to say anything? Do you want to say anything? Huh? You want to say? Are you sure? Just how much you love working here and you're going to work for 25 more years? Okay, can you hand me the bag? Why don't we grab a picture? And we'll kind of
That's all right.
lean to your side. How about that? Cool. Do you want to come up here? Yeah. Why don't you just sit down and we'll go on.
That's all right.
Sit,
Stay
sit,
seated.
sit. Ken has some foot problems, so here's your certificate if you want to open it up, and here's your little present.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Want to open up the certificate for the photo?
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations. That'd be great. Okay.
Step.
Our next one is Ray. Ray, come on up. Ray's been with us for 5 years. So, a certificate of recognition, Symmes Township Trustee. This is to certify that Ray Williams has been recognized for his commitment and dedication to Symmes Township for 5 years of service by the Symmes Township Board of Trustees, December 6, 2022, and it's signed by the three of us. Congratulations. Would you like to give a speech? And you're going to be with us for what, 20 more years?
Yeah. You only got 21 to go to catch up, no, 20 to go to catch up with Luann.
That's right.
Congratulations.
Yes, thank you so much for all your work.
Thanks, Jay.
All right.
Bill.
You want to shake it? We'll do that.
Here.
That's right. Ready? Okay. Thank you. Okay, do we have anybody else? We have one more. Oh, we got Kim. Our administrator, Kim LaPensi. She also has 5 years. Woohoo, that went by fast. Okay.
Almost 6 now,
So we also have a certificate of recognition. Symmes Township, this is to certify that Kim LaPensi has recognized for her commitment and dedication to Symmes Township for 5 years of service by the Symmes Township Board of Trustees, December 6, 2022. Yay! Kim, you want to give a speech?
No speech, but thanks. Thanks
Okay.
to everybody.
25 more years?
Oh, I don't know if I
Sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Don't want to mess up your picture.
What's that?
Say it on and mess up your picture.
Oh, you're not missing anything. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Kim.
Congratulations.
Thanks. Okay, don't feel like you have to stay. Ed, Luann, Bill, you may leave anytime unless you want to stay. Okay, so thank you to everybody, thank you to all our employees for a great year. So hopefully in 2023, we'll have as good as year. So our next one is, we are opening a public hearing. I moved to open a public hearing for a zone change application received to change the zoning from A residential to DD planned multi-residential, where the applicant plans to construct a 20-unit townhome development on the property with associated surface parking, access drive, and one new access point from Snyder Road located at 11720 Snyder Road.
Second.
Okay. So I guess we'll,
Brian
to start it out. Is that rain?
Yes.
Okay.
Good evening, Brian Snyder, Hamilton County Planning and Development Services Administrator. I believe you all have a copy of the staff report that was prepared for this case by the Regional Planning Commission staff. This is a zone amendment, as you stated. Changing the zoning has a process that's laid out in the Ohio Revised Code. that lays out a series of meetings, notification requirements, and things like that. This particular zone change is a request to change the zoning from A, single-family residence, to DD, planned multiple residence. In Ohio, zone changes are required to go through a series of 3 meetings, one with the Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission, one with the Symmes Township Zoning Commission, and a final hearing with the Board of Trustees. This is a legislative action, and so only the Board of Trustees has the authority to change the zoning map or the zoning text in the state of Ohio. So that is why we're here. This case has gone through that process. What is being proposed, as you stated, is a 20-unit attached townhome development. The 3.5-acre property with 20 attached homes would be a density of 5 units to the acre, 5.7 units to the acre. There is a proposed dumpster, a proposed new driveway off of Snyder Road, several guest parking spaces, and then the actual townhomes themselves would each have individual entrances from grade. They would each have a 2-car garage that would be part of the unit that would be accessed from the access drive. So they would have individual units and individual garage entrances. The buildings would be a mix between 1 and 2 stories from the front and 3 stories from the back. They are designed to, I believe, to meet the requirements of the height restrictions in this proposed district, which we'll get to in a minute. The first part of the staff review, there was an informal meeting that was held before the beginning of the zone change process with residents from the surrounding area. At that meeting, the zone change process was described, the applicant described the project, and there were several citizens that attended, which raised several issues, including the height changes between what was originally proposed and what was being proposed at the meeting. And then there was discussion about whether it was rental or condominium, traffic, as well as the possibility of sharing a driveway with 5 seasons. Those were all the issues that were discussed at the meeting. Following that, the application was made and staff prepared a report, so I'll go through the report briefly. The land use plan for Symmes Township was updated recently, calls this property, or recommends this property for attached single-family development, which is defined as moderate density attached single-family dwellings, such as townhomes or condominiums, with a minimum floor area of 1,200 square feet. Individual entrances at grade, attached integral garages, and at densities higher than single-family residence. The staff report includes findings related to all of those. It is moderate density. It does include individual entrances. It does have garages that were integral to each unit, and it is a higher density than the 2.17 units that are permitted in the current A district that's on the property. It is also surrounded by I-71 to the south, 5 Seasons Club to the north, and a similar townhome development on the opposite side of Snyder Road. So the surrounding uses are very compatible with the proposal. Therefore, staff found that the development was consistent with the Symmes Township Land Use Plan. The Regional Planning Commission, as part of their job, is to assure consistency with adopted plans. They voted unanimously to find consistency with the adopted plan at their meeting on October 6th. There's no issue with the Hamilton County Thoroughfare Plan. There was a discussion in the staff report about the height. At the time the report was written, there were 2.5 stories were being proposed for each building, 2 in the front and 3 in the back, which averages to 2.5. That's how we that's how we determine height. So there was a variance that was recommended. The engineer for the applicant can verify, but I believe that all the units now are being designed to meet the requirements without the variance. A lighting plan would be required as part of the final development plan if this were approved. The same with signage. There's transition buffer yards that are required based on the adjacent zoning. Even though it's a 5 Seasons Club, it's still a single-family zone. Staff found that keeping the existing mature vegetation would be better than tearing it out and putting in new vegetation to comply with the buffer. So we recommended that as well. So staff recommended approval of the development with 4 conditions, 1 variance and 1 modification. The Regional Planning Commission unanimously recommended approval with the same conditions as staff. The Zoning Commission, the Symmes Township Zoning Commission, held a public hearing on the 19th of October and also unanimously recommended approval of the development with the same conditions that are in the staff report. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
You said the variance isn't no longer necessary for height?
I don't believe so, but like I said, the engineer for the applicant can verify that.
Okay.
Quick clarification on the undisturbed. So we got, if I understand it correctly, 15-foot undisturbed area along the southeastern and the northern property lines. Is that?
Yes,
So the northern, I get up against Five Seasons.
Right.
So southeast would be up against the sound wall, the interstate?
just next to the interstate, yes.
Okay.
I don't know that there is a sound wall along this portion of 71.
No, there's not.
Oh, there's not. Okay. So just the interstate. All right. Good. Thank you.
Just the site will get cut down, so those buildings will be lower than the interstate, so you'll kind of have a buffer just naturally from the grade when we cut the site down.
Okay. Okay. Thank you. That was my only question.
Just to add a little bit more, I realized I failed to mention these facts. The plan itself was transmitted to the Hamilton County Public Works Department, MSD, Cincinnati Waterworks, the fire department, and the Hamilton County engineer. We did receive correspondence related to stormwater, that they'll have to meet the required stormwater regulations. We did receive indication from the Hamilton County engineer. I don't know if we got formal correspondence, but they have reviewed and approved this location as the safe for site distance. So they have looked at the speed limit in each direction and the site lines and determined that this would be a safe access point. All of this, again, would get reviewed if approved as part of the final development plan review. So typically, a conceptual plan comes through this process, and that if it gets approved, all of the details related to engineering, the final site plan tweaks and modifications, all of that gets done between this approval and the final development plan hearing with the Township Zoning Commission. So that's where those details typically get ironed out, but they will have to meet all of those requirements, including the county engineers related to traffic.
And this did not require a traffic study because it only 20 units.
I don't believe so, correct. If one is required, the Hamilton County engineer will require it, and they won't be able to build anything until they get everything done that they need done. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Christopher Hillebrandt with Marilia Group. I am the proposed development company. To answer your question about the traffic study, based upon our last meeting that we had last year when we were here, we did have TEC do an engineered traffic study that we provided to the county just as backup to the county. It was still under the maximum density that was needed, so they actually didn't take it into calculations, but it still met all the requirements necessary for, I think, 80 units. So the 20 was well under the requirements for any further road improvements from the development, right? So as Brian said, you know, we've got approved 2 steps now. We're hoping and seeking your approval in the last step here. We're working with our architect and engineer firm on the exact, I can say on the height. We will be under the 35 feet maximum height, so 2 stories from grade. So we have no problem meeting that height restriction. We actually have some renderings that we've done since our last meeting. If anybody here would like to see those, we could show those to you. So I'm here to answer any questions. If you have any other questions for me.
Was it based on the study for the previous proposal that the entrance from Snyder Road was determined?
That entrance was determined truthfully based upon where the Hamilton County engineer originally went out on site and said, if you're gonna get access, it's gotta be in this location.
Okay.
So a
that-
couple years
that's
ago.
maintained then?
Yeah,
Okay.
when we started this project, or process a few years ago, we've always kept that same location.
Okay.
While the plans have changed a couple times, right, the location's never changed.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and the current location, or access point right now, is not the access point as shown. It's further north on Snyder Road, just for reference. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, so now we open it up to anyone who would like to make a comment. So please step up to the podium, say your name and address.
I'm Dave Markstein, live at 11940 Palmettos Drive. Apologize, I've not been able to make all the previous meetings, so some of what I wanted to talk about may be overcome by events. For clarification, was the townhomes slated to be rental or condominiums? Or we don't know?
Do you want me to answer that now?
Yes.
Or just- So, we don't know exactly right now. I can tell you, with building costs going on right now, these are probably $450,000 units individually. So we're gonna have to do an analysis to see if it makes even sense to rent them, but they'll probably be for sale units.
Okay. So earlier, the presentation by the applicant, was talking about a lot of townhomes. Envision at the time could be rental, as we know it's not finalized yet. I took some of these screenshots showing the adjacent properties, like right across the street. You can see the values of them range from 430-something thousand to 800,000. It's pretty high end, and they're obviously condominiums with individual owners. And then the property directly to the north of Five Seasons, there's one at 1.3 million, and even the ones right across the freeway, I-71, range in value from 460,000 to 750,000. So obviously, we're trying to not put rental properties right in what is otherwise a pretty high end. If you go to the next slide, please. My only point here was that the other homes nearby require a lot of funding to, purchase the home, maintain the home. Our concern is, by contrast, if you have apartments that are for rent, the people who live there generally don't have the financial means to purchase a larger home or a condo, and you also get a lot of times the property maintained by property management companies, which can, come or go. Bottom line is we're trying to maintain all of our property value that we've all poured a lot of money into. Often there's also increased crime with the rental properties, as I'm sure the sheriff's they can provide data for that. So that was all I wanted to go out there is present that there was a lot of high-end value around here, and lobbying against, say, a rental version versus condominiums or others similar stuff that's across the street.
Okay, so these are high-end $450,000
Right. So I don't know
condo
if,
slash maybe apartments at this point.
Sure.
It's one thing that the Board of Trustees is not allowed to do by law is not permit apartments. That's by law. We cannot consider apartment versus a condo.
Right.
Okay, because that's discrimination.
Okay.
So we cannot do that as a Board of Trustees.
Right. But I'm stating that's.
Yeah,
my
and I
concern.
understand your point. I appreciate that, but I just want you to know that we have to stick to the law. If we don't, we could get sued.
Very good.
Okay,
Okay, that's all I had.
thank you.
Thank you.
Jim Boyle, 8380 Hambletonian. We're right across the highway from these guys. Represent 64 units in our development. A lot of kids, a lot of grown-ups, and what we're concerned about, as we've been all along, is the traffic. That thing is right across the bridge. It's in a very dangerous area on Snyder, and we don't think Snyder can handle this kind of traffic. So we're very concerned, and all the residents within Huttenbauer and Kemper Woods have expressed to me, make sure you bring up, the residents are concerned about the safety of driving on Snyder. And that's a legitimate concern to me, because 20 units times 4 people is 80 additional cars could be hitting up and down Snyder. And I think that area does not lend itself to additional traffic. Snyder's just not wide enough to take it. So from my perspective, representing 64 tax-paying homeowners within the Symmes Township, we are of the opinion that this is not a good location for this kind of property. We basically, convinced you guys on the 80 units. We're down to 20. we want to keep it zoned the way it was zoned. Why it's going to a DD, don't know. But traffic is definitely a problem for the people, the residents within Huttenbauer Farms and Kemper Woods.
So, in the traffic study, can you, like, they decided not to do it because it didn't even meet at the 80, so at the 20? Because I want everyone to make sure, because a lot of times when these developments are being talked about, people worry about things. And if it's backed up by science,
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, so-
Previous accident reports.
yeah, I guess accidents reports.
Do you want to talk regarding the accident reports?
I don't have that data with me.
Oh,
I
we
think-
asked for the data on the last one, and
Yeah, and the only communication I had with the engineer was they did a speed study and found that there was an issue with speed on Snyder Road.
Yeah, we think you gotta, present the accident rate on Snyder. It's pretty high. We got the school further down the road. The other thing, is there going to be a soundproof
did.
wall between 71 and this development? So our units are gonna be facing right into this thing? No? Can we ask you guys?
There's not a wall, but that whole site gets cut down, so what's there now goes way lower, so you won't be able to see these condos from the road, and they won't be able to see the expressway, because you don't need a sound barrier, because it's getting blocked naturally by the earth. When we cut that down, that'll all stay up in a higher elevation, so road's up here, and the condos are down here.
So if someone's playing the radio extremely loud at night, it'll probably carry right into our development.
I appreciate the sentiment, but if there's one house here playing music, you're gonna hear it, right?
Right.
So, when you guys tabled the meeting, when the trustees tabled the meeting last year, I believe it was in November, and we came back in December, we thought we were gonna have an opportunity to present again, right? We thought that the residents were gonna have an opportunity to stand up, we were gonna stand up, and a traffic study was discussed at that time. We worked really hard, we had got a traffic study done by TEC Engineers, which is a Hamilton County approved engineering firm. Actually, Ken, we sent that traffic study to you last year, you have it in your possession, you said we couldn't use it for the meeting, but you have it. It was at 80 units, at the specific location, with the speed limit, with all the crash data, that's required to go into it. And they did not see any improvements that was necessary at all whatsoever for 80 units. So when that was given to the county engineer said this doesn't even, the trip counts on a daily basis for 20 units, don't even justify us looking at the traffic report, right? So they approved not only the 80 units, right? I want to mention Hamilton County approved us to build 80 units here, okay?
Yeah, but Hamilton County doesn't live
You're asking.
right across the highway.
You're asking about facts, right? All
yeah,
these
we don't want to get into.
I know.
Attack,
just
so
saying that
you
we
can
have
make your comment,
Yep.
and you
We have the
brought your
letter, right,
study.
where Hamilton County approved the 80 units. So now we're down to 20 units. Again, Hamilton County Engineers has approved the site for the 20 units.
One more question. Where is going to be the entranceway of this thing? How close is it to the bridge?
I mean, the entranceway is.
That bridge, when it's icy, is extremely
So
dangerous.
the bridge is not on, you can't see the bridge.
Can't see the bridge on this.
Here, south of it. So Jeff, I don't know if you know how far it is. It's, can you see the entranceway here? I don't know
Yeah.
the exact.
Well, you said the entrance is going to be further north.
Well, I'm saying where we're showing it here. Do you
Yes.
guys see where it's coming in?
Well, the same pictures, right?
It's right in that corner at the very bottom, I mean, we can scale it. Where is the bridge?
Yeah, just where is the bridge?
So, real quick, Chris, so who is going to determine where the driveway goes? It's going to be determined by the engineer, the county engineer?
The county's already said it
Approved
has
that.
to be in that specific location.
Okay.
It's already been approved.
And they base that information off of years of knowledge or like,
Site
A couple different things, site distance
Thank
is
you.
a major
Speed.
one, so they look at where on there can you see the best if cars are pulling in and out. That's a major concern. And then the traffic study would dictate if you needed turning lanes or any other improvements, which they determine how that's based is what's called a peak hourly rate. So they don't look at how many cars are coming in, they model it to how many cars are coming in at your AM peak hourly rate and your PM peak hourly rate. Now, it's usually 100 cars in a peak hourly rate is what triggers a traffic study. Obviously, we weren't close to having 100 cars during the AM or peak.
It's one lane also. One lane for northbound and one lane for southbound.
Okay, so I do have to make, because we want to keep everything calm. So if you want to make a comment, please wait till it's your turn at the podium.
Yeah.
We just don't want to get in a fight.
And all this information has been provided to the county's traffic engineers. That's what they do for a living, and they're the ones saying that we don't need improvements. I mean, that's their job every day, is to look at traffic and to analyze this stuff, so.
Okay.
Look, I just asked that the board consider the number of traffic accidents that have happened on Snyder, and to consider when that road is icy, that bridge is extremely icy, and if there's 40 to 50 cars running up and down that road heading to CHCA, we're gonna have trouble. That's all I'm asking. So appreciate the time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to get up and speak?
My name's John Dorr. I live at 1175 Winthrop. And for the past 18 to 20 years, I've lived in this span of Schneider Road in 3 different developments. And so I don't have the statistics, but I can tell you from real experience, I now live in Somerset. I lived above Somerset, and coming out onto Snyder 20 years ago was nothing compared to coming out on Snyder today. And the cars we're coming out of communities at 5 miles an hour, starting to ramp up to road speed, and they're coming off of the dip or across the bridge, depending on which way you're going north, at 35 plus, and it may be 35 speed limit, but the reality is people are exceeding that speed limit. And the danger, my concern, is the safety factor. That we're trying to come out, and I've done it for nearly 20 years. I lived in Sterling Run, I lived in Somerset, I lived in 2 different areas of Somerset in the same span. And the hidden part is the reality of living it. We can have statistical, we can have all kind of engineering studies, and I appreciate that. But I'm giving you the reality of coming out. You got to come out accelerated out of these side roads to get onto Snyder today, and it's going to get worse. The other question I have is, during the construction period, it seems to me from my business background, we're going to have a lot of heavy-weighted trucks and equipment coming out onto Snyder, so it's not only the school buses and the cars and trucks that go up and down every day, it's going to be the heavy-duty dirt haulers and so forth coming out at their speeds, and these cars are coming over these hidden zones. So I just want to really reemphasize the safety factor of trying to get all this traffic out onto Snyder Road. It's a concern. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lisa Jester. I live at 8363 Hamiltonian, and we are the community that will look right across behind our $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 homes to an apartment complex. We're asking you to please uphold our responsibility and your responsibility to us, and don't change the zoning. We moved in because this was a very nice residential area, and it continues to come up, for question. And the first question we had was, now that they're saying that this is a 20 unit, which sounds much smaller than what we turned down before, during the informal hearing this summer with this group's attorney, we were told that these are 3 to 4 bedroom rental townhomes. Now, I don't care, I do care personally. We very much care the difference between rental and condominium. You all cannot make the decision, but hear from us that we do care for the difference. Second of all, if you talk about traffic, we're not talking about 20 cars every day. Each unit with 3 to 4 bedroom also has 2 parking spaces, and 2 garages. So that's at least 80 cars, potential for 80 cars at that unit. That's a big difference between 20. And that all comes back again to the traffic on that very narrow spot when this area has been zoned for residential houses for a long time. And I also am just expressing general frustration that their plans continue to change. No one has to communicate to us what they are. And as we see this grow and develop, it's very important for us to know, are they rental? Are they townhomes? How many? How many bedrooms? What is this really going to be? We heard at the zoning commission that from the front, we could see 3 stories. Perhaps that was incorrect. So will we be able to see 3 stories from Snyder?
There's the height requirement, we're gonna follow it. I mean, depending on where the grade is on the house, I mean, some of the houses you'll see 3 stories from the back and possibly 1 from the front. Some of them you'll see 2 stories and 1 from the front. We have to fit the grade to the house.
Driving by Snyder for those first ones that are closest to the street, because you have 4 different buildings, is that correct? Will we be able to see 3 stories from Snyder Road?
It depends. In the final development agreement that we send and we submit to the township, we will be able to determine that.
So we don't know, and those of us who are looking at this really would like some more detail, but we're telling you, we don't want to see 3 stories from Snyder, and we don't want to see 3 stories looking across from our homes across the highway. That's all I have. I hope you will listen. We care. We like our community. You've heard these arguments before, and I think what we've done is we've kind of changed the plan, but we still come up to a very high density development. Thank you.
Thank you. I don't want to put Brian, excuse me, I don't want to put Brian on the spot, but in the zoning commission meeting, our zoning committee member, Mr. Kessler, asked for clarification on the maximum height of the roof line of the proposed townhomes in comparison to the townhomes on the west side of Snyder Road and 5 Seasons Sport Club. And it's in the, I'm just bringing this up because it's in the meeting minutes. Mr. Snyder stated the height of the townhomes and 5 Seasons Sports Club will be similar. Is that, just want to verify that was accurate?
I believe that's still correct, yes.
Okay. So they're all, it sounds to me like they're all in the same range.
Right.
Okay, thank you.
The code allows for 2.5, isn't that correct? 2.5 stories?
2 stories, 30 feet in height.
30 feet in height, yeah, so they'll all follow what the code is there. They'll actually probably all be, because that site gets cut down lower, they'll actually, while they're 30 feet in height, they'll probably be lower than the ones across the street just because the whole site's getting cut down in a hole because it's so narrow now to get enough buildable space, we need to cut it down to make it wide enough.
Okay.
So it'll be lower, and then the other thing I want to point out is the future master prep plan calls for more density. Your land use plan calls for the exact development that we're trying to put here, and that's why we went for. We've been through several different iterations on this lot, and the reason we chose this product was it matched your guys' future land use plan.
Kim, can you speak real fast about the master plan? When did we just redo it?
We redid it in 2018, Brian? 2020. Oh, that's right.
And what, in the master plan is made up by?
I'm talking about
Sorry.
land
The
use.
committee?
The committee of residents from Symmes
Right,
Township.
we had a bunch of residents from the township along with staff members. I think I was on the committee, Phil was on the committee, Brian was on the committee, Regional Planning Commission was on the committee, and then we had members of BZA, Zoning Commission, and people from the community that were on the committee.
Okay. And exactly what do they do so they
It's land
understand
use
what
plan, wasn't
it is?
Okay.
The master
She said
plan
master
itself,
plan.
it's just a guideline for future development.
So you review every parcel in Symmes Township,
Right.
and then you set a guideline, what it could be, what you see the future of it could be.
Right.
Right.
And with this particular piece, it could have been many things just because of its location. So it could have been offices, it could have been higher than normal residential just because of its location. It was a number of things, but we settled on the density that Jeff just mentioned.
Who settled on it for that spot?
It was our committee recommended it to the board, and then the board approved it in 2020.
So we have a master plan that we review every so often, and it's made up from residents of Symmes Township. So we put a feeler out on Facebook, we put it in our newsletter, we advertise for any resident who would like to serve on our committee to step forward. So we had, how many did we have?
8, 9, somewhere in that range, maybe 10.
Yeah.
Tops.
And so they were all made up of residents of Symmes Township, just like yourselves, and they go through every parcel in Symmes Township. And they talk about it with Brian and other professionals that do it, and then they come up with how they feel it could be zoned. If they want to leave it alone, or if they want to change it, because, you know, sometimes what was zoned 20 years ago isn't necessarily what it should be zoned today.
So that decision was made 2 years ago? Is that a matter of public record?
No, actually, the attached single-family land use designation has been on this property probably for the last 50 years. Ever since the land use plan was first created, I think this property has been shown for this exact land use.
So
Maybe
they didn't
30,
change
sorry,
it. We're just
probably
trying to
30 years.
explain with the master that they do. I wouldn't know at this meeting if they changed it.
And that's
or not.
on the website, right?
Yeah, it's on our website.
Okay.
So 2 questions.
If you want to stand up.
You have to stand up
Thank
because
you.
we can't hear, I can't get you on the tape if you're all the way
Yeah,
back there.
The request is to change it from A to DD. Why? And number 2, was there any, we have a lot of homeowners associations within Symmes, a lot of developments that have homeowners associations. Going forward, my request to everybody is if you're doing something major that affects Symmes, that you at least contact us.
We do. We absolutely send everything
I
out
never-
to.
I
If
swear,
you've
Jody.
changed your homeowners association,
Yep.
like in the last year or so, we wouldn't have you. But we have a homeowners association email list and we send it out.
Okay.
Everything we can. And if you go on our website,
Yep.
the first thing that pops up is join our email. And so every month we send out an email telling you exactly what's going on in the township.
Okay.
All you have to do is sign up for it and it'll pop into your mailbox once a month.
So all homeowners associations are in that listing, and then
Well, they
whether
have
they're
to
current or
sign-
not.
they have to sign
You
up
have to sign up physically.
for that one on
Okay.
email.
Okay.
But we have a list of homeowners association
Perfect.
that we send things out to all the time.
Okay, okay.
Speaking from personal experience,
Yes.
once it goes to that board, it doesn't necessarily get distributed to everyone in the
Right.
HOA.
We found that a lot.
But there
Yeah,
are a lot
yeah.
of them, there are a lot of them that do,
Yeah,
okay?
okay, good, appreciate it.
Yes, sir.
My name is Betsy Emmert, and I'm counsel for Snyder Investments as the applicant for this project. And a lot of great points were raised this evening, and I just wanted to hit a couple things that may have either been lost in the mix or maybe not mentioned up until this point. And understandably, we are all here tonight to await the decision of the trustees in terms of approving the recommendation of the zoning commission to approve the zone change for this site from A to DD. And as part of that consideration, and as was highlighted by Kimberly, is that the intended use for this site is consistent with the master plan developed just 2 years ago. And again, we've been through several iterations up until this point to develop a plan for a site that is otherwise very hard to develop based upon its unusual triangular pad dimensions, as well as finding something that is economically feasible and will diversify the tax base of Symmes Township. And we believe that the project presented this evening and has been presented through now 3 public hearings has developed into a project that will do just that. It will provide a unique and valuable residential offering to the residents of Symmes Township and will attract young professionals and empty nesters to the site, and will also, as we have discussed, not significantly impact high traffic, or as opposed to what could be other very high volume attractions like office space or mixed use retail. So with that being said, we are confident that this will be an amenity to the residents of Symmes Township, and as Brian Snyder highlighted before, many of the concerns that were discussed tonight will be ironed out throughout the final development plan. That will be a separate hearing.
Thank you.
Do you have a question?
Taking the point that there's a lot of construction equipment that will be moving in and out of Snyder Road, is there something that the Morelia Group can do to perhaps have traffic direction and so on there to alleviate some of these major concerns?
Yeah, we can have a flagger on site during construction, right, so to help get the traffic on and off
Okay.
Snyder Road.
Well, there's no issue. There's no issue with traffic. Then why would your construction cause an issue?
Well, no, the point was brought up that heavy construction, it moves slower, okay? And it may not have the acceleration to get out of the way of someone coming up and down on Snyder. I think that this is maybe a solution to that issue, if that could be arranged. I'm not trying to put an additional requirement on the development if it goes forward. Okay, I'm just trying to think, what can we do to alleviate some of the concerns?
We'd be happy to have a daily flagger on site to help.
Well, only
Or a
when
sheriff,
needed,
like,
I would
technically,
think.
You could have a sheriff or
You know.
something, yeah,
Yeah,
if that came to that.
yeah.
Okay, who else would like to speak? If you want to step on up to the podium.
Hi, my name's Kim Frank, and I live at 12,000 Bright Oaks Lane. I am not a Symmes Township resident. I live in Sycamore Township. And I have a couple questions. In all of the meetings that I've attended, they constantly reference the property across the street being townhomes. They are not townhomes. They are ranch condominiums. They have walkouts to the water retention, whatever, the pond. But they are not multi-level units. They're
Okay.
subgrade and ground, they're ranches. So I'm not sure what they're talking about when that's referenced over and over about the townhomes adjacent across the street.
Right.
Yeah, no?
Point of clarification.
Yeah.
Made and accepted.
Okay.
Yes, I
And then
understand.
the second thing, in all the meetings, I know one of my big concerns, and I'm the president of our HOA of Sterling Run Farm, is the safety issues on Snyder Road. And I think the things that were brought up in the past is people are asking, will there be a turnaround in the property for buses, for UPS delivery trucks, whatever. It doesn't look like on this plan there's a turnaround or anything, has been, maybe at the end, maybe it is, I can't tell. On this, it shows a dumpster, so, or some, yeah. Anyway, that's my concern, is that these trucks or buses stop right on Snyder Road as you come over. And the bridge, people were asking where the bridge is. It's in the bottom left corner.
Yes.
Is where the 71 overpass is. So, and it crests, and then as soon as you go, then that's when you would, if there would be a stop bus or a stop delivery truck or something, it would be a problem.
So if there's a bus, they would,
There is a turnaround, there's guest parking past those buildings down there, so there's a whole aisle that they can go.
Are you talking all the way at the end?
So all the way at the end of bus, a school
Yes.
bus could come in, and
Yes.
that's great, perfect. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Okay.
Okay, anyone else?
Tim Jester, 8363 Hamiltonian. I've been here twice, trustee meeting and zoning meeting, and my concerns are always the same, and they're still going to be the same for this spot, traffic safety. Every hill on Snyder Road, both ways, is a blind spot. If you've ever driven down Snyder Road, and I've driven down it for 40 years, it used to be worse and they've cut it down, but you used to go airborne over those hills, and you still can if you go fast enough. Not that I would know. But blind spot, both sides, each direction. Driveways, blind spots, coming over the hill with not a lot of stopping room. Blind spots, driveways on the right, driveways on the left. there's hardly any room to stop. Someone is going to get rear-ended. Someone is going to get hurt. And that will not be on me, because I'm here saying, don't do this. It will be on the people who approve this if people get hurt. CHCA, school buses, Sycamore, school buses from every district that imports kids to CHCA are going to be on that road. Children's lives matter. It's science. We know it. We've been told that over COVID. So please defend these kids. They're student drivers. They're not good drivers. There's accidents at Snyder and Kemper every month when school's going in and school's getting out. People are getting T-boned. That's going to be on people who approve this. So there's going to be more traffic too, because in a couple months, you're going to approve more parking for the Silver Spring House right there. Yeah, we'll see. So there's going to be more traffic from the apartment and Silver Spring House. So I'm just saying, when it expands and this expands and people get hurt, don't do it. Put the concerns of the residents over concerns of the developers.
So I know from the last meeting, because people were concerned about speeding, we put the speed radars up there. Are people not paying attention to that?
They stop for a short term.
They're paying attention now that those are up there. When they're gone.
Well, they're permanently up there.
And part of the time, the sheriffs have parked there, and there's some space off of Snyder. So people are aware of that too.
Okay.
So that's got a little bit of a mental exercise. Then they forget about it, and they don't see the cars anymore.
Okay.
I'm telling you, 20 years I've been walking down that section, and people don't pay attention to 25, 35 mile an hour. We can say we want to regulate it, but it's going to happen. His points are, people are going to do it. We know that. Just a lot more traffic in a
So if the
short
sheriff
span.
is sitting there, are they doing tickets? I mean, are they?
I don't have the numbers, but yes, we write speeding tickets on Snyder Road.
You do write speeding tickets on Snyder, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'd like to comment on the blind spots he's talking about. Every
Okay, you want to
intersection-
stand on that?
Oh,
Thank you. Just so we.
Yep.
Yeah.
Just like to comment on the blind spots. I mean, every intersection that we get permitted has to do what's called a sight distance calculation. And there's calculations that go into every, by a high law, that we submit to make sure that a person sitting, you know, at usually it's 3 feet above the ground, which is a typical car. Obviously, if you're sitting higher up, you got better sight distance. But we do those calculations to make sure that there are no blind spots. And if it is a blind spot, then the Hamilton County engineer will not grant you the letter that he did that said we have adequate sight distance. And this is why we need to put the intersection exactly where he chose for us to put it, was because it does have adequate sight distance and there are no blind spots.
Can I follow up on this?
Sure.
Again, it's Lisa Jester. The point is not where you sit. The point is where the traffic is going to be backed up for those people trying to turn left across to get into your subdivision. So what happens is there's so much traffic there when people are trying to turn over the lane, traffic backs up. People coming over there are two hills going southbound on Snyder. There are two hills there. So what happens is traffic gets stopped on the hills. And if you happen to be just over the top, that's the blind spot that we're referring to.
So you want to comment on that?
The study's done both ways, right?
Yeah,
It's done
yeah.
both northbound and southbound, right? And all the distance that you have in front of 5 seasons, sorry, is taken into calculations that we've done, and Hamilton County engineers approved it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what else we can do to provide the data Hamilton County engineer. Either approves it or doesn't approve it. There's no gray area to it.
I was going to point out, but besides just the sight distance, there's much more that goes into that traffic study. I mean, they're modeling traffic patterns, they're modeling all the turns on the other intersections. They just don't, it's not just the one calculation. They're taking into account all the traffic around this when they analyze that traffic study.
Including peak time.
Correct.
Peak time, off-peak time, coming
Yeah.
northbound, coming southbound, going left, off Snyder Road into development, going into 5 seasons, you know, setting in 5 seasons, coming out, like all that had to have the tapes put down on the ground, right? They actually did the actual trip
So-
counts.
So they're there, like, they're there. They're just not doing it sitting in their office. They actually go
Yeah,
out to the
They physically went
site.
out to the site and did it. It took them a week. They physically did all the analysis for a week, compiled the numbers, put it together, and sent it to the county engineer. Like physically in the field did it.
Was this done during the school year?
Yeah, it was in December. So I would think it's probably the most heavily trafficked time of the year, because it was this time last year, the first and second week of December, when kids are home from school, going to Christmas at parents' house. You know, it wasn't during vacation, it wasn't in June when school was out of session.
And they add peaking factors even to the data that they collect. That, you know, they collect the data, but then they model it and they add peaking factors for different peak times and, you know, times of the year, and all that stuff's taken into consideration in the traffic study.
While you're at the podium, I want to ask a question going back to the turnaround portion?
Sure.
So if I'm looking at this diagram, there's a green circle at the end. So I'm
So
thinking not just delivery trucks or school bus or whatnot, but like a fire truck, like worst case example. So if you drive in,
All the
a fire
way-
truck is able to make that turn to
Yes.
go back out.
So all the way at the end, past the last building there,
Yes.
there's actually a parking lot with a big lane in it. So you can go in and you can turn left or right, and there's a whole lane there that they can pull into that lane and back out and leave.
It's like
It's a
that
whole
T
parking.
turnaround, right? So
Yes.
there's that T turnaround, how they gotta pull in.
But it's much wider than a T
And back
turnaround
out.
because there's
Right.
parking on both sides of it.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just a clarifying question. So my name's Terry Bauer, and I live at 11658 Risenman Court. And just a question on the master plan. You said that the development is in line with the master plan, correct?
Yes. Okay.
So was the master plan created with a change in zoning or the current zoning?
No, master plans do
I-
not take into account zoning, they're two separate
Okay.
entities. But
Okay.
when you go to regional planning commission, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
When a request goes to regional planning commission is going to look at what does the community want. So that master plan takes into consideration all the comments, puts it on the paper and then the board adopts it and says, this is what is expected in this area. So if you look at that land use plan right there on the wall, that land use plan is a accumulation of all the comments from communities, not every member, but people that showed up to the hearing. And we decided, yes, it meets that criteria, and then that's what it's gonna be. Then so you look at that, and then you have to ask for the zoning. So the zoning takes into consideration what the master plan says. So like when Brian got up and spoke, he said in Regional Planning Commission, what they do is they look at the conformity of our land use plan. In this case, the land use plan said, yes, this is what it needs to be, or it's in conformity with what they're requesting. Had it not been, then the Regional Planning Commission would have recommended denial because it's not in conformance. But since they match, that is why they recommended approval.
Okay, I just wanted to understand.
But it's
that.
part of the zoning process. It's two different things. In Ohio, I will mention that it does not require, the zone change does not have to match what the land use plan says. So you have to keep that into consideration too.
So, okay, so two different.
It is, it's two different tiers. They don't have to match.
Okay.
And these guys can do whatever they choose to do. And even if the zoning commission would have recommended denial, they can still approve it. If the zoning commission recommends approve it, they can deny it. They can do any of the above as long as they have a majority vote. And a legal basis to do it. I will add that. They have to, the board has to articulate their reasons, but also traffic, unfortunately, is not one of those things that they can consider.
That you can or cannot consider?
Cannot consider. The law does not allow us to take into consideration traffic.
Okay, so yeah, okay, I get it. This makes, okay.
Yeah,
Thank
I know
you
it's
so
a
much.
hard thing to
No,
understand, but
I get it. It's like, everything in the, it's one hand in this hand and this hand, all kind of talking. I get it.
Yeah, but we
Okay.
also have
No,
to
I
follow what
understand.
state law says
I
too.
understand. Okay, that makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, anyone else?
Don't travel Snyder Road. Go that way.
We asked this question before. Have you all seen the travel that section and done so during a busy day?
Yes.
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 Last time when this was going on, I drove it several times, at different times of the day.
Yes.
And I did have the crash study done, and to be honest with you, I don't know if it was that more, from what I remember, it was slightly elevated versus normal, but I don't think it was,
Was that data you got from me?
yes.
That was the speed study.
No, it was, there was a crash study too.
Yeah.
Did you get that from the engineer?
The Hamilton
I don't-
County
maybe we
engineer
got it from
publishes
the
an
engineer.
Yeah,
annual
you
crash.
wouldn't have gotten that from me.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, because I know we looked at that too.
Yeah, it's that annual thing that we
Even though we're
get.
not
Yes.
allowed to.
Yeah.
We did
Hamilton
look.
County engineer publishes an annual crash report throughout all of Hamilton County. And hopefully would never make the top 10 crash sites. So that gets a lot more attention.
Okay, anyone else? All right, I move to close the public hearing.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. I move approval of disbursement warrant number 82074 through 82263 and vouchers 285 to 346 in the amount of $1,124,714.44.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Now we're at reports. Law Director?
Thank you. No report tonight.
Okay. Police?
I don't have anything, but since I won't see most of you until January, just wanted to wish everyone Merry Christmas and hope everyone has a safe holiday.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you. You too.
Fire?
Thank you, Board. The only thing I have for you this evening, you have my written report, but we got the final report back on our Commission on Accreditation for EMS. So we were awarded another 3-year accreditation and found no deficiencies within the organization. So I want to present the plaque to the Board.
Oh, thank you.
For another 3 years.
You can
Give it to
Ken.
Jody.
Oh. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations. We do have an awesome police and fire department, so thank you. And I want to thank you, we have, for Operation Santa, we have 3 fire trucks that go out with Santa on them, and our fire department volunteers to drive them. So thank you so much for doing that.
Thank you. You're very welcome.
Okay, we don't have any committees, nothing from other. This is the time that we have hearing from residents, so if anybody would like to go up and speak other than what we just talked about for the zoning, please feel free to come on up and tell us what anybody needs. Okay, so we don't have anyone for that. Okay, with correspondence, the attached are events and meetings. Our Merry and Bright contest, December 1st through December 16th, 2022. Winners will be announced on December 19th, 2022. So for all of you that are in Symmes Township, we do a lighting contest every year, and we have different categories, so please decorate your houses. We have Chamber Annual Meeting Wednesday, December 7th, 2022, from 5 to 7 p.m. at O'Banion Creek Country Club. Zoning Staff Review Meeting December 12th, 2022, at 6 p.m. at the Administration Building. Building is closed on Christmas Day, Monday, December 26, 2022. We have a Christmas tree recycling program that starts December 27th through January 31st, 2023. We have a special meeting the last week of December. Our building is closed New Year's Day, Monday, January 2nd, 2023. We have a regular trustee meeting Tuesday, January 3rd, 2023 at 7 p.m. at the Administration Building. Board of Zoning Appeals meeting Monday, January 9th, 2023 at 7 PM at the Administration Building. The Loveland Symmes Fire Department tabletop scenario is Saturday, January 14th from 8:30 to 12 at the Loveland Water Treatment Plant. We don't have any old business. We're moving forward to new business. I move to have a special meeting set for December, whatever date we decide, to discuss appropriations and revenues for 2022, park fees increase, and flock cameras. We got a second on that?
How late in the year you want to have that, Kim?
It's either gotta be the 28th or the 29th.
Pick a date.
28th or 29th?
Okay.
Yep.
All right, I'll second that for discussion,
Okay,
sorry.
sorry.
Thank you. Okay. End of the month, is that what we're looking at?
28th or 29th,
Which days of the week is it?
because all our
28th
final
is a
numbers are due by the 30th.
Wednesday, 29th's a Thursday.
Yep,
I can't on the 28th, but I could on the 29th.
okay.
What time are we setting this for, though? Does it
It's
have
up
to
to
be
you
in the
guys.
evening?
It'll be late afternoon.
I'm off that whole week.
I'm pretty much open. I'll hobble in here.
Do 5?
Do the 29th.
Is that too late?
It's just, that's the holiday
Is this a
weekend.
short- it's a short meeting?
It's after Christmas.
Is there a lot of discussion at this?
It's
meeting?
just gonna be our final resolution for our revenues and appropriations, and then we need to do the park fees, like we talked about at the last meeting.
Right.
And then we're gonna talk about flock cameras, since we haven't had a chance to talk about those yet.
What cameras?
Flock cameras.
What are they?
They are cameras that monitor traffic. Basically, I was gonna say, Mike, you wanna chime in? You're probably more,
Yeah, this group might be interested in that.
The license plate readers that we have on some of the cars
License
that we
plate
operate,
readers,
these are a similar system. They're stationary rather than fixed on a car. And it's the database is much easier for our investigators to manipulate and use. Like, it's a lot better. It's lots more searchable, gives a lot more functions. So it's a better investigative tool than what we had, the old license plate readers we had.
So hypothetically, you could put them on the speed signs or whatever on Snyder Road and monitor everybody that's traveling that road over a 24-hour period.
It would capture, yes, the license plate of everyone who went on that road.
but what makes these cameras unique is they will take a picture of the whole back end of the vehicle,
Yes?
so that there are several identifying factors on that vehicle.
Okay.
So say it's involved in a theft, and somebody says, oh yeah, it was a white Jeep and it had this tire rack, and this tire rack looked like this. That camera will actually take a picture of the back of that, and then you can enter those characteristics into the system.
Okay.
And then when that Jeep gets taken a picture of with those characteristics on the back, it automatically flags the system. And then the nice thing is these cameras will tie into the whole entire system. So not only for us, but Cincinnati will be able to see it, Montgomery, Loveland, all up and down the whole interstate, you could actually track it. So if somebody committed a crime in Cincinnati, they could put it into the computer, type in the characteristics of the vehicle. If it happens to pop into Symmes Township, it'll automatically alert the person that sent or put in the characteristics of the vehicle, and then it would I guess you guys would be dispatched, or somebody would be dispatched to find it.
You can set the system up to alert you in different ways. It alerts for different things: stolen vehicles, wanted vehicles, missing persons, things like that. If a license plate is entered, it will alert officers that car is in the area. And
Modern technology.
Yeah, and it does, like Kim was saying, I think the last numbers, there are 65,000 cameras deployed across various parts of the country, a lot in our area. But if you share your data, we have access. So we have access to any camera in Louisville. Blue Ash just put up 35 to 40 cameras. We have access to Blue Ash's cameras, just instantaneous. And that data comes back. If a car's read, if a license plate is read by a camera, that information is available to us within seconds. So if a car if a wanted vehicle goes through down Montgomery Road past one of our cameras, we'll know within minutes, as long as we're alerted to the system, that that car's in the area.
And that's pretty widespread going to be in Hamilton County?
Yes, I can't give you, I know Blue Ash has 35 to 40 cameras. We have 25 currently deployed.
In the county?
Yes.
Okay.
So there are 5 or 6 in our district, 5.
There's actually one in Symmes.
Yep.
So at the corner of Gregory Creek, or Gregory and Fields Erdel, there's a flock camera right there.
Okay.
So this works well for Amber Alert and things like that.
Exactly.
But not for, what do they call it, traffic light camera scenarios? Right. So you're not going to tag somebody?
No. It's
You're going
strictly
to be looking
records
for somebody.
It records images, and I don't know how familiar you were with the old license plate reader system we had, but that database was only searchable by the license plate. All we could search is, has it seen this license plate? And it could tell us yes or no. This, like Kim said, if you're looking for a vehicle that was involved in an accident or in thefts, you can search, show me every silver SUV that's gone by this camera. It's that adaptable. So really a step up from what we had deployed.
Now, Symmes has license plate readers in their cars now?
Kim, you haven't had any since I've been there.
Not to my knowledge.
That system became obsolete. I know
Okay.
Sycamore had some, and the county has some. So if you had them in Symmes, they were on a county-owned vehicle.
Okay.
And that vehicle that we had hasn't. We never replaced anything because we knew that system was becoming obsolete and just weren't fixing or repairing.
All right. So we're going to discuss this in this end of the year meeting.
So what time?
All right.
4?
What time
Thanks
can
for
you
the
be here,
preview.
Phil?
I got to drive up from downtown.
What time can you be here?
4?
That works for me. Is that okay for you guys?
What day did you say?
29.
Thursday, the 29th?
Okay. I'll make it work.
Okay.
Okay.
So do we need to
You want a
Move
motion?
for December 29th, 2022 at 4 p.m. to discuss appropriations, revenues for 2022, park fees increase, and flock cameras.
Second.
Roll call.
Ms. Lees,
Aye.
Mr. Beck,
Aye.
Mr. Bryan.
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-118, resolution authorizing, or resolution approving a zone change from A residential to DD multi-plan residential located at 11720 Snyder Road.
Second?
Discussion. Who's teeing it up?
Well, I will.
Okay.
Based on what I've heard from this public hearing, and just going with the facts, because we've been told we cannot consider rental versus sale, we cannot consider traffic. So I know this project has gone from an office, contemplated office building, to, as we spoke of earlier, 80 units residential. Now we're looking at 20 units residential. Confirmed that the Ohio Revised Code, that process was followed. This is consistent with our land use plan. It received a unanimous approval from the Regional Planning Committee, and it received unanimous approval from the Symmes Zoning Commission. And it also, as we talked about, the Hamilton County engineer reviewed the traffic study and approved that. I would also like to say that I appreciate the mention of additional steps to assist with safety during construction. So that's sort of my summary.
Okay. Ken?
The only thing we're acting on tonight is the zone change, subject to a final development plan which has to be approved. And I'm certain that one of the requirements is going to come a height requirement and so on. So that's my 2 cents worth anyway.
Yeah, and then the final approval you can get feedback from the community, right? Like what they want, you know what I'm saying? You can work with them if they want landscaping or.
Yeah.
You're not going to be able to see.
Let me
it.
ask Brian
Go
a
ahead.
question. Brian, in the final development plan approval, does the public have input?
Yes, for
Okay.
sure.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Okay, any more comments? Roll call.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. Okay, I move approval of Resolution G 2022-119, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to enter into a contract with Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission to provide planning and zoning services for Symmes Township for 2023.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Ms. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-120, resolution to reorganize Symmes Township for 2023.
Second?
Discussion? I guess I'm going to go to say I would like to nominate Phil Beck to be president
I don't
next year.
think that's what the
Is that what we're
resolution
doing?
calls for. No.
No?
No, we do that at our January meeting.
Okay, I was
Thank you,
thinking.
though.
Yeah, already. It's your turn.
That's why I had to go read that thing for this meeting. Because I thought it was the same thing she did.
I did too.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right.
So, Kim, can you help tee this up for us?
What are we on? I'm sorry, I wasn't paying attention.
Resolution 120.
120.
This is, this is the cooperation agreement between the county and us for block grant. So we just have to, the county will not give us the money for the Seven Gables Trail.
This says reorganize Symmes Township for
Reorganize.
20.
Oh, I thought you were on
120.
121.
No, 120.
All right, so what's the
Sorry.
question?
Can you explain the background of this?
Yeah, it's just so that we can set all our committees. So right now, so section 1 is, it sets all the meetings
Yeah.
for the first Tuesday of the meeting, except for July 4th, we'll have to move to July 11th. And November 7th, we have to move to November 14th. It sets how you all are compensated, which we have to follow the Ohio's,
Revised
the way,
code.
yeah, the revised code and how that's written. The zoning commission members will be compensated $50, and so will the Board of Zoning Appeals. Township elected officials are to be members, and department heads, administrator, fire chief, law director be associate members of the Ohio Township Association. The township will be members of the following organizations and pay associated fees for membership, which includes Regional Planning Commission, Little Miami River Chamber of Commerce, CLOUT, Hamilton County Road Supervisors Association, and the Public Works of Southwest Ohio officials. The employee manual will remain the same. Board of Zoning Appeals, dates will be the first Monday of each month at 7, except for January 2nd, we need to move to January 9th. And September 4th, we move to September 11th. Zoning Commission meetings are on the third Wednesday of every month. It approves the calendar events for 2023. The township will compensate employees who use their own cell phones in the amount of $700 per year. We set the holiday schedule, which is the same as last year, all the same holidays. And then it sets our committee assignments, which I didn't change. So for finance and audit, it's Joe. For the ad hoc community reinvestment area, it's Ken. For CLOUT, it's Phil. Hamilton County Regional Partnership, Phil. General Health District, Jody. Hamilton County Township Association, Jody. Hamilton County Tax Incentive Review Council, Phil and Joe. Hamilton County Road Superintendents Association is Bill. Hamilton County Stormwater is me, and then Little Miami River Chamber Alliance is me. So that's it.
Okay,
Okay.
good. Thank you. I have no further discussion.
Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-121, resolution authorizing the Township Administrator to enter in a cooperative agreement between Hamilton County and the Board of Trustees of Symmes Township for the Community Development Block Grant.
Second.
Discussion.
Oh,
So sorry, this is the resolution that is the agreement between us and Hamilton County Commissioners for us to receive our funds for the Seven Gables Trail repaving.
and that's gonna be like $40,000, what?
$49,900, so
Okay.
$49,999.
Okay, that's a little better than we were hoping, I think.
Mhm.
I had someone tell me that Hopewell need to be repaved. Is that on schedule?
We already repaved Hopewell. We repaved portions of Hopewell 2 years ago.
Right.
Okay, they said it's dangerous, by the way.
Okay.
So can we look?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Oh, roll call, I'm sorry.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2022-122, resolution declaring an emergency and providing for clearing of undedicated roadways.
Second?
Discussion?
No, it's just boilerplate. It's something we do every year.
Yes. Roll call?
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-123, resolution approving township permanent appropriations for fiscal year 2023.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-124, resolution authorizing clout membership.
Second.
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2022-125, resolution authorizing the township administrator to sign an agreement with Choice One for survey services for the Seven Gables Park Trail in the amount of $5,850.
Second?
Discussion? Roll call?
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-126, resolution authorizing the township administrator to sign an amendment to the contract for the fire protection and emergency medical services with the Loveland Symmes Fire Department and dispensing with the second reading.
Second. Ken's got it.
Discussion? Roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
I move approval of Resolution G 2022-123, resolution approving the...
127.
I'm sorry, 127, thank you. Approving the transfer of $2 million from the general checking account to meter public funds to be invested.
Second.
Talked about this with Finance Committee. Discussion, roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. I move approval of Resolution G 2022-128, resolution approving pay adjustments for township employees for fiscal year 2023.
Second?
Discussion?
Yes, I'd like to table that one
Yes.
until we have executive session to discuss it.
Yes, I totally agree. Okay, so I move to table it.
Second.
Roll call?
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move to appoint Debbie Coughlin to the Zoning Commission for a term of January 1, 2023 to December 31st, 2027.
Second.
Discussion, roll call?
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
I move to appoint Jewel Deutsch to the Board of Zoning Appeals for a term of January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2027.
Second?
Discussion, roll call?
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye. I move to appoint Rick Vonderhaar to the Finance Committee for a term of January 1st, 2023 to December 31st, 2027.
Second.
Discussion, I just want to thank all three of them for stepping up to the plate and serving for Symmes Township. Roll call?
Mr. Bryan?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
I move approval of the following expenditures and authorizing for the Township Administrator to sign any necessary contracts, agreements, or paperworks. A, expenditure
I was
zero.
gonna say, sorry, I forgot to take that off. There's zero.
I had to say it, zero. Okay, I move to go into executive session, RCIC Section 121.22 G1, to consider the compensation, employment of a public employee or official.
Second.
Phil got it.
Roll call?
Mr. Bryant?
Aye.
Ms. Lees?
Aye.
Mr. Beck?
Aye.
Okay.
If we will come back in, potentially.
Can I get up the steps into that place?
Think you can make a decision tonight?
Is there a-
About salary?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not ready for salary. Are you ready for salary? I was thinking
Depends
in
on
the
discussion.
January 1st, we could talk about it tonight and
Thank you,
then just.
Chief.
Because it doesn't matter. I mean, are you ready? I haven't
Just
had time
waiting
to
for the
think about it.
discussion.